Hey, this is Christy. You're following my weight loss journey and sticking to other routines, even though I have massive ADHD and plenty of excuses to fail. So, I'm still having my extremely heavy I'm on my cycle week, so I'm up 2 pounds right now, and I am sticking to the plan still. Yesterday, I actually ended up going over by 2 points, but it's not as bad as the day before because I went over by 8 points with candy the day before that. So, not too bad for being bloated and also technically going over my points the last 2 days. But I just want to go ahead and go over the macros because we're keeping track of those just for giggles at this point. I'm just trying to keep everybody up on things. We had 1,920 calories with 134 grams of protein, 80 grams of fat, and 162 carbs. That is quite a bit of food yesterday. But I was hungry. I spread it out as well as I could. I woke up in the morning, I went ahead and I had my little pre-made protein shake, which this really does keep the lumps out. It's so great. So for my little 43 grams of protein, and I spread it out, I made sure that there was like hours in between each kind of meal. I wasn't using a timer or anything, but I was just I knew that the last meal was going to be sometime around 10 o'clock at night. When you've got that big of a window of food, you really got to kind of inch along that day or you're going to end up overeating for the day. It's just an easy way to overeat is to have a long window of food. So if you can control your portions because you know you're going to have that long window of food, that can help keep you at least a little under the radar. Another fun thing about that, everybody gives you so much time. They're like, oh, don't eat the last 3 hours of the day, don't eat, And there can be a lot of power to that, I would say every once in a while, but we're trying to keep the metabolic rate as high as possible. I want to make sure my body is burning as many calories as it possibly can every single day. And so technically keeping that metabolic window open where my body just thinks it's supposed to keep freight training through these little teeny tiny meals is keeping me plenty good. Again, I still woke up just a tad bit hungry this morning, not dying for food, but I was ready for my little protein shake 30 minutes after I woke up. I put a little PB powder in it this time. So good. So that definitely still helps. I'm still counting this as being on track because if a normal cravings week, I would have eaten a ton more food still. I was at Costco, I would have eaten a hot dog or a pizza or had one of those ice creams, the chocolate ice creams. I didn't do any of that. I didn't come home and have dessert after all that. I was still probably a good 500 calories under what normally without any kind of restrictions I would do. And so I like to play the better is better game, and that's better than what I would normally do. We're good. So, because we want stuff that we can stick to. I also wanted to add, I want to make sure that everybody knows that my protein smoothies are not just protein powder. I put a scoop of protein powder in. I use the high filtered, low fat milk, the 2% that I get at Costco. It's not a bad deal there. Then I add a scoop of marine collagen, which is another 5 grams of marine collagen in there for a booster. This time, again, I added PB powder, but I also add creatine. I add some Benefiber, that powdered clear fiber to it. And let's see, sometimes I add just whatever else to it, anything else that I want to have for the morning. So I just want to make sure that it's, that's where I put all my convenient morning, don't forget yours, is right in that protein smoothie, so I don't have to worry about it, especially that creatine. I never remember to take my creatine. So that's been helping a little bit. Let's see. I figured out a new way to use the bracelet. We had a comment from a student yesterday who's talking about struggling in school, and oh my goodness, that brought me back. And I was thinking about a simple method that we could use the bracelet to possibly help with homework. And so I'd like to submit this suggestion since it's just an abacus and we could use things however we like. We've got our beads on this side, and then we got our center bead, and then we got the beads on this side, right? Usually that's to help you mark food or whatever mid-afternoon so that you've got your midday. But what if we had special beads for classes in school where homework could be assigned, and you started your beads on one side of the bracelet, like the morning side, and then when you got assigned the homework in class, you move it to the afternoon side of it. And that's just like a little reminder, like before you leave school or when you get home, that you need to check that class, you need to check that folder, you know, you need to go to your locker and get those books, because something's going on in that class and you need to have attention to it tonight when you get home. So then when you get home, you've got all these beads over on this side, and as you finish the tasks, you can move them back to the morning side of your bracelet, and that'll let you know that you have your homework done. And then anything that there's still lingering things to do, you just leave it on the afternoon side to remind yourself, this is ongoing, something's happening in this class here. I was just thinking about that yesterday, and so I was thinking that probably would have helped me get in probably another 75% of homework that never ever made it to the teacher's desk. I swear I passed on test scores alone. If it were for homework scores, they just wouldn't have let me go. So just a little tip there. We are working on multiple ways to use this bracelet. I even have a new user who wants a sample bracelet who is going to use it to track carbs. Now, I don't recommend doing this. This poor guy was trying to stay under something like 34 grams of carbs a day, but all the more power to you if that's part of your plan. You're trying to stay, you know, that protein dense. That's amazing. Some of these bodybuilders are doing it. So we're exploring lots of different ways to use the bracelet and just kind of having fun with it. In the meantime, I'm going to try to make sure I get a good walk in today. I'm going to try to make sure I do some good calisthenics today. And you know what? I might even think about sticking with my points today. You never know. You never know, guys. All I want for you is to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Cheers. Have a great day.